Hello everybody, I am Angry Bird. We've got a new preview division coming up today in Black Sunday. New DLC being released by Eugene for Steel Division 2. Release date, I believe, is the 17th of August on Monday. And if you want to grab yourself a free copy of the DLC, then jump into the description. Click the link on my Discord. I'm doing a giveaway for a free copy of Black Sunday DLC. So, the division we're looking at today, the 7th Mechanized Corps. Let's jump straight in. So, made up of a mix of green recruits and Stalingrad veterans, the 7th Mekh fought its entire existence on the southern flank of the Eastern Front. During the strategic offensive into Romania, the 7th Mekh broke through heavily fortified lines and ultimately completed the trap that encircled the German 6th Army. One noteworthy vehicle of this mechanized formation is the Su-76I assault guns, repurposed from captured Stug 3s, originally built in 1943 with some still in active service in the summer of 1944. Furthermore, British Matilda II tanks can be found in this battle group. The 7th Mekh features a host of different infantry and armoured units, allowing it to be a decent choice for an all-rounder battle group, capable of holding its own on the battlefield. Right, let's jump in and let's have a look. And yes, it pretty much does look like an all-rounder type division. You're not too limited anywhere, and you get a lot of you get a decent amount of 1-point slots. So let's jump into the Recon tab. Nothing too different here. We do get some, this is interesting. We do get some Razvedkas with the M1 bazooka. And these bazookas can be good at that 250 meter range. So it's very nice to have that option. We also get the T-34-76 Razvedka. I'm not 100% how useful this tank is at this point, but it might come in handy if there's not too much in the tank tab. So it's a T-34-76 at the end of the day, so it is still a reasonable tank. Let's move on to the infantry tab. We've got Sapri PSH, we've got Tanko Disanniki. They only get 6 half tracks. They are limited to 1 star in A phase, so you can only take 6 of these guys. But in B phase, if you want to take them, you have to take them in the M2s at 1 star. But most people opt to take them in the M2A1s for that 50 cal gun on top. We've got Strelki, and they are pretty decent 20-point cost line infantry. They're just standard infantry. They'll soak up a lot of damage, and at 20 points, they're easily replaceable. So, decent infantry. After Machiki, they used to be a lot better before all the Molotovs were around, but now they do lose out a lot. They can still deal some hefty damage though if they're, one-on-one with an enemy squad at like 100 meters. They can do some hefty damage. We get some Sapari. We also get Strelki DP, and the interesting thing here, I'm not sure whether I picked this up prior, is the Strelki SVTs are a new card for us. So we used to have Strelki DPs, and if I remember correctly, these were basically the same as the Strelki SVTs, but they had 2 DP28s. And so what Eugene have done is they've limited you to 1 card of these Strelki SVTs, and they've taken a DP28 off, I think. And then they've replaced the SVTs with the Mosin Nagant. And so you are kind of a bit more limited with these SVTs. And SVTs are powerful units or rifles, semi-automatics, very powerful in this game. So it does make a bit of a difference here. We'll have to see how it works out. A Tanko Conrotti here with a nice Mosin Nagant sniper. Very nice. So yeah, standard infantry, nothing. I think with the SVT change, nothing like amazing, but also decent, not bad, definitely not bad. So a decent infantry tab. Let's move on to the tank tab. We have those Matilda 2s. Let's have a look at this unit. Really do love the look at the Matilda. Obviously, I'm from the UK, so I'm going to have some kind of bias towards this unit. But yeah, nice little... guess at the time it was a heavy tank, but I think by this stage of the war, you can't really call an 80mm frontal armor a heavy tank. It has the quarter pounder with cheese. It has the 2-pounder, which does give a fairly decent rate of fire, but at 75mm of penetration and a really slow road speed, this thing, it doesn't fire HE shells either, so I think it's going to be rare to see this thing in action. We've got the Su-76I, which was mentioned in the blurb. It's built on the Stug 3 chassis, and it's got the ZIS-3 gun inside it. So ZIS-3 gun is decent. It doesn't have the APCR on it, but actually at 35 points, this is a good vehicle for that price. You only get one card. You are reasonably limited in terms of numbers, but at that price, I think this is actually a really good card. And this will probably make up the bulk of the A-phase tanks. However, having said that, looking further down, we have T-34-76 1943 version and T-34-76 1942 version. These are the tanks that you're going to want to take overall. The Su-76Is are good, and I definitely recommend taking the card. I would probably take the A-phase card, and then, add in the T-34s as well. You get yourself a hell of a lot of tanks. I mean, what's that? All A and B phase. We still got one card left over. Let's just plot that in C phase for good measure. And how many tanks is that? 79 tanks. That's a lot of tanks. That is a hell of a lot of tanks. So yeah, a decent tank tab. Nothing over the top in terms of the equipment, but still a very decent tab. We get some Ognamachikis, so they can do some rush maneuvers. We do get the 52P as well. We get Su-152, which has the big gun with the HE damage. For only 65 points, I mean, it can only do HE damage, but it's good. It's good. And then we have the Su-122, which has the M30 in it. This thing has the heat shells, so it's 160 penetration no matter what the range. Heat shells don't lose drop-off penetration over range, so these are definitely good units to have in your deck. I can see most people taking them in B phase. The accuracy, 40%, I think that's pretty reasonable. The rate of fire is a bit low, but you want to, these aren't your main tanks. Your main tanks are your T-34-76s, but if you need something taken out, like a Panther, a Tiger, maybe even an IS-2 or a King Tiger, perhaps not at 2 kilometer range, but at 1 kilometer range, this thing can do that job. So they're definitely nice to have in the deck, for sure. Some nice support options here. Let's move on to the anti-tank tab, and we got some PTRS-41, we got some M42 guns, 2 cards of those, which will be, I recommend probably 1 card. We get some Su-76 MPTs. I really like these units. I always tend to find that they trade up in terms of value. I mean, 35 points, if you take out 1 German tank, you're generally traded in value, and they can definitely do that with 135mm of penetration. If you take down even an infantry unit, you take down a Panzergren with the HE shells, and you've kind of paid yourself off. So these are really efficient vehicles, and yeah, they're just nice to have there. I really do like those vehicles. We got some standard ZIS-3 guns that, these are the main AT guns that can hide in forests. So we don't have any ZIS-2 guns, which is a bit of a shame, but we do have the Su-85s, which have big APCR penetration, and then we get some ISU-122s that have just some big general penetration. So this thing is not short of heavy penetrating units. Maybe it doesn't have it on the tanks, but if you need something, you've got the options available to bring in. Onto the anti-air tab. From the looks of it, no, I always have to work out whether this is the M15 or the M17. This is the M15. It is a good unit. This is definitely a good unit. And actually 3 cards of Zenart 37mm, you're definitely not limited here. So I would probably take the cards in A. I would take the M15s in B, and I'll probably take another Zenart in B. And that's your complement in terms of 1v1 for AA. So they have some decent units there again. Artillery. We got the VZ VODs, of course. We got some F22s. We got some 82mm mortars. We got some mortar bikes here, which is kind of rare to see. We've got some Katyushas. If you like the Katyushas, not really fantastic units. I think they could definitely use some kind of buff. We got some Su-76Ms. These are great if they're used in the right way. We got some 120mm mortars, and what is this at the bottom? It's a KV-1E off-map. Wow, that's actually a good unit. 203mm off-map, but you get a KV-1 as well, which is kind of rare, because normally these off-map tanks, the gun is disabled, but this thing isn't, and it's probably one of your highest armoured vehicles, maybe outside of the ISU. So this is probably a must pick in the artillery tab, and you always, in 1v1 anyway, you always have the options. The likely picks for me here are maybe some 82mm mortars, maybe the Su-76Ms, because they can still act as tanks as well, and definitely the KV-1E. It's just a bit of a question whether you take that in A, B, or even in C phase. That's your choice, really. Finally, onto the air tab, we get some P3s. They aren't really fantastic. Not recommended unless you're coming up against like major air spam, maybe the Pansari Divisiona, and you just want some cheap early fighters. Maybe you could get some P3s, but yeah, they're not really recommended as a unit. We get them in the fighter bomber version. This actually isn't too bad. It's very good resilience. Yeah, actually it flies decently fast as well. I mean, 510 kilometers per hour for 80 points, 200 kilogram bombs. I actually think this unit's pretty worthwhile, because that kind of payload, you probably are going to be able to take out an enemy HMG, an enemy infantry gun. So yeah, I actually think that's a really good unit. We got the P40N, which we get 2 cards. One of them is the Ace version. This is the standard skin, and I absolutely love this skin. Really nice. You can get these in A, B, and C. Let's have a look at the... Oh, wow. The P40N KD Denisov. This skin is very nice. Very nice. Yeah, beautiful skin. And similar, you know, it's the same unit, but one's an ace. One's got a nice skin, and one's got a equally quite nice skin, actually, to be fair. So I think, yeah, most people take a card in A and a card in B in your decks. They're doing that 3-4-6 again. I think I've mentioned it enough. Right, then we get the P2 bombers. And this thing's a really good bomber. The payloads really do it for this thing. I mean, they've got some really decent bomber support. They don't get a lot of slots, though, actually. This is the most limiting tab, I feel, because I kind of want this P3 in A phase. I kind of want, you know, fighters in A and B, although your anti-air is decent, so maybe you just want one set of fighters here, and then, you know, you've got some nice bomber cards here. Which one would I probably take? I think I'd take this one. Which one's faster as well? Actually, they're both as fast as each other. I'd probably take the 120 point. It's 1,000 kilograms of bombs. The other one is what? Actually, the other one, yeah, 900 kilograms. So you're paying 10, actually, yeah, when I look at it, you're paying 10 points more for 100 kilograms of bombs. That's quite expensive. Yeah, whereas you get more availability. I think I would, oh, actually, no, you get equal availability in B. So if you're going to take it in A, take this one for sure, because you get 2, and the other variant, you only get 1. And if you're going to take them in C, you get, for some reason, you get 1 more on the, just random. Sometimes it's so random, isn't it? Wow. So yeah, you are kind of veering into that 3-slot point position. We finally get a ground attack version with rockets, but they just aren't worth it compared to the bombs. They really just aren't worth it. Right, let's just jump in quickly to the defense. Yep, there is the defense. Wow, there we have it, the 7th Mechanized Corps. And actually, I think it's a really good division. Having seen all the divisions now, I think this is the division that I'm going to most enjoy playing with. I actually really, really like the look of this division. You've got decent infantry, nothing too special. You've got great cheap tank support. You have got excessive penetration in other tabs as well. So yeah, you've got some really good anti-air. I mean, the M15 is a great anti-air piece, and artillery may be a little bit lackluster, you know, but I'm not a massive artillery player myself, especially in 1v1 as well. You don't tend to see a hell of a lot of artillery, so that's not the worst kind of tab to be a little bit short in. Right, there we have it. Where do I think this is going to fit in the meta? Is it going to be a great division? Is it going to get played a lot in 1v1 competitive play? I think this will get played a fair amount. I don't think this is like an exceptional division, but I actually think its versatility will mean that it does get played quite a lot. So yeah, look forward to seeing the 7th mech in action, definitely. In terms of my favourite unit, which one is it? Let's just refresh ourselves. I mean, I could choose the Matilda 2. I think most people would probably think I'd choose that because being a British man, but, you know, no, not this time. Not this time. I actually really like the look of the SU-122. I'm going to pick the SU-122. I mean, I really like this skin. Sometimes I just fall for the standard skins. Just having some numbers on there and a red star does it for me. Yeah, I really like this skin. Actually, it's just so basic, but, you know, I'm basic at heart, really. It's an M30 inside a chassis with a reasonable, you know, amount of armor. Nothing too special. 90 points. Yeah, I really like this unit. I mean, it's really tough to call the ISU-122S. We have that in other divisions as well. I think the KV-1E off-map, that is going to be a great unit for sure. There's some great skins in the air tab, the P40s. I really like the look of this P3 as well. But yeah, I'm going to stick with not the SU-85, although it's a great vehicle nonetheless. I'm going to stick with the SU-122 in the support tab. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. A reminder, if you want a free copy of Steel Division 2 Black Sunday, head into the Discord, join the giveaway, and yeah, get yourself a free copy on release day. Also, remember to check me out on Twitch. Link in the description. I'll be playing the new divisions, hopefully prior to them being released. So, yeah, come check me out. Link is in the description. Angry Bird Live on Twitch. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm Angry Birds. I will see you next time.